What's up guys, and welcome to this video discussing the latest Rogue Company update where they have added Dr. Disrespect's well-awaited map, the Arena, which he's been working on for quite some time with high-res, brought about the release of the player identity system, which is now available, offering you new and interesting ways to spice up your profile. This update also brings about the introduction of a new limited time mode called the Arena. The description is as follows: during the month of October you'll have a premier change to tackle the Arena. In this limited time mode you'll play Demolition, Strikeout or Extraction and earn rewards exclusive to this event. This update also brought forth the introduction of a legendary Dallas skin in the form of Dr. Disrespect, which can be purchased for 2,000 Robux, alongside a Dr. Disrespect bundle, which can also be purchased for 2,000 Robux. So for the balance side of the patch notes, high-res actually has quite a lot of content. So to get started, they made a lot of changes to the perks, or mainly 3 of the perks. So for Evade, which made you run faster after being damaged, they increased the movement speed bonus from 10% to 12% and increased the duration from 7 seconds to 10 seconds. 6th Sense, which basically in my own words would let you be aware of when an enemy was looking in your general direction, or what they say, detect enemies looking at you, was a gold perk, and when an enemy was looking in your general direction, there'd be a yellow eye on the center of your screen, center at the bottom, and when somebody were to look at you, that eye would turn from yellow to red to let you know that somebody was looking in the direction. The perk was really whatever, so I guess that's why they're removing it. And they've replaced that actually on the rogues that used to have that with another perk, mainly track-arounds, but they've also given that glitch Headstrong, which I'll get into later on. They made a change to track-arounds too. Track-arounds allowed you to track the enemy after you had landed a shot on them. It was another gold perk, which means it costs 10k. Weapon damage reveals enemy is basically their definition of the perk. And what they changed to this perk is the reveal time increased from 3 seconds to 4 seconds, so after you shoot an enemy they'd be revealed for 1 more second longer than previously was the case. Other than changes to the perks, they also made a number of changes to the gadgets. This is a big area of the patch notes for myself personally, because prior to this point in my game or my gameplay, nades have been a huge thing for me. You can even check out my Twitter. I've uploaded a montage clip of the various nades and ballistic knife kills I've gotten. So nades were a huge part of my gameplay. But right now, as I'm reading from the patch notes, for the standard nade, the outer radius damage has been reduced from 50 to 40. So that's basically if you're caught within the outer radius of the grenade, you'd actually get a decreased damage, only by 10. But they also reduced the inner explosion radius from 3 meters to 2.5 meters. So that outer radius is actually going to be a bigger effective part of the radius now. Reduced the outer explosion radius from 4.25 to 4 meters. So not only have they kind of moved their radius inwards, they moved the outer radius inwards in a way, if you can understand. It's kind of a weird concept to grasp, but they've kind of just lowered the whole radius of the grenade whilst also decreasing the damage dealt. So it's going to be pretty noticeable when you normally throw in a nade after cooking it, and you'd get like a double kill or triple kill because you notice there were like 2 or 3 enemies in that area. It's going to be pretty noticeable, and I get why they changed it too, because I can't lie, it was very easy to, after dying, just come back, cook the nade perfectly, to just throw it behind the cover where they were and get like 2 or 3 kills that way. They actually seem to have buffed the Molotov, which is what Dallas, Scorch and Vi have as one of the gadgets. And previously, my favorite nade was just the standard grenade, so I didn't really mess with a lot of the other grenades. Although C4 was incredibly OP, which we'll get to. So the Molotov was great for when you down someone, or if you had an ambush behind cover and you knew exactly where they were, just to get them moving from that cover, or to close off a certain area. And the fact that they've actually buffed the spread, the amount of time it actually takes for the nade to spread, is going to be pretty noticeable. So if you want to run those characters, you have more of a reason to run those characters. They fixed an issue with the Molotov where the level 1 upgrade didn't increase the duration. I never actually noticed this, but apparently it was a bug. So apparently sometimes when you upgraded it, it would not actually increase the duration of the Molotov. They also increased the area which the Molotov spreads by 20%, giving you a larger effective damage range, which I think is it will be a noticeable buff, just to make those rogues more worth playing, because a lot of the times people would tend to go for Ronin, Dima, and even the new rogue Dahlia, because of the amount of damage input that they had, with the nade being one of the huge factors, and then Dima and Ronin on top of that having their ballistic knife, which actually did get a nerf, which I will go on to later, and Dima having his cluster launcher. So this will actually more times increase the pick rate of other rogues. I think that's what they're trying to get to do. Moving onwards. C4 is actually being hit with a huge nerf, and I think this one was a long time coming. I mainly main Ronin, but after I hit mastery level 4 with her, I tried getting a lot of other rogues to mastery level 3 just to get the emote for them. So recently I was playing Ambil, and that C4 is disgusting. If you ever found yourself in a situation where you knew where the enemy was and you were backed into a corner, one C4 and you'd get like a triple kill, it wouldn't require much skill, and you could throw that thing far. As long as you got the level 1 upgrade, you were getting easy kills. So they actually reduced the max throw distance from 17 meters to 13 meters, which is a huge difference. The level 1 upgrade, which what I was talking about, was pretty much was what you just needed. That's pretty much all you needed. You didn't even need to increase the damage. They reduced the distance from that upgrade from 22 meters to 16 meters. Outer radius damage reduced from 60 to 40, which is actually huge. If you think about it, that's a lot of damage. That's like a whole one more shot, depending on what gun you're using. And the inner radius reduced from 3.25 meters to 3 meters. That isn't too much, but I think that would be very noticeable, because in general C4 is not a nade. It was lucky. I wouldn't say lucky, it was good that you could throw it far after the level 1 upgrade, but it would never rival the nade. That's why the nade was always top for me, because the flexibility, you could literally cross map with the nade, you'd see the curve, cook it perfectly, and that's it. Now I think the nade will require more of a skill gap, so you'd have to actually land your nade next to them, which personally I'm not trying to be cocky. I don't think that's a problem for me, because all I do is nade a lot of the times. That's why I tend to suffer when I pick a different rogue other than Ronin, Dima or Dahlia. I think it's a good thing with the nade, I think it's a good thing with the C4. The Molotov, I think that will increase the pick rate of those rogues. One more change with the gadgets is the Semtex, and I think this is an interesting one. They actually reduced the outer explosion radius from 4.25 meters to 4 meters, and that's all they touched. The thing is, I didn't think that it needed that. I thought the Semtex was very stale as a nade. I think it's probably the worst nade in the game in my opinion. You can't cook it, you can only rely on it to throw it down and explode in a relatively short duration, and that's pretty much it. You can stick people with it. I didn't think that the radius needed to be reduced, to be honest. I think it needed a little buff. So that's an interesting change for me, but we'll see how it goes. Moving on to the rogues. Anvil is now no longer immune to EMPs and slows. Previously, I already thought Glitch was a weak character, but the fact that he can't EMP an Anvil, I thought was a bit, it's whatever. And to be honest, I did not know this, but the other day I found out that the perk that makes you immune to reveals, the perk Cloaked, it actually makes you immune to being seen on Glitch's tablet, therefore making you immune to EMP. I did not know that. That is very interesting to know. So I think the current state that Glitch is in is quite bad, and he needs a buff of some sorts. But anyways, Anvil could basically just run through trenches, razor wire. He could run through gas grenades. I think the main reason they changed this, which is what Scott Lucia said, was on demolition, Anvil was used on both attack and defense. Like if you think about it, you just have a guy just running through all the fortifications, running through all the gadgets, like it is what it was. So I understand why they changed that for him. But I think our main point of controversy is that people said Anvil's gun was OP, so they weren't just happy with the nerfs to his passive. They actually buffed Chuck. They gave his ability duration has now increased from 7 seconds to 15 seconds. So when he stims himself, he will actually have that bonus health for 100% more of the time what he had before. So now it's doubled effectively, and his down health is now increased from 50. No, not from 50. His down health is now increased from 30 to 50 because he gains the ability to dodge roll and have that increased health. They removed 6 cents from everyone, so now they've switched most of them with tracker rounds. Ronin now has tracker rounds instead of 6 cents, as well as her ballistic knife's proximity damage being reduced from 125 to 100. And the reason for that is anyone who played Ronin and used their brain to make a quick play would realize that if you had a few people down behind cover or anyone down behind cover, an easy way to kill them was to just quickly throw the knife onto a wall that's next to it and shoot the knife to cause that 125 damage. Vi, they have now removed 6 cents and replaced that with tracker rounds. Pretty self-explanatory. Talon removed 6 cents and he now has tracker round. For Glitch they removed 6 cents, but interestingly they replaced it with Headstrong, and that is because he already has tracker rounds. Moving on to weapons, and I think this is actually a really interesting bit of the patch notes. They seem to have buffed SMGs in general. So for Chuck's SMG, the D40C, they have increased the range from 11 meters to 12.5 meters and increased ADS movement speed. The general trend is they have increased the range for SMGs and increased the ADS movement speed. They've just increased it by a little bit, but I think a lot of the community was complaining, saying that SMGs seem to be a bit too overpowered. But I think it's a mix and match of opinions. Personally, I still think Ronin and Dima's AR is probably the strongest gun in the game, especially when you combine it with the perks that they have, Replenish, and if you look at Dima, he's also got Life Rip. That combination is pretty deadly. It is what it really is, and maybe this buff will actually make SMGs a little bit more viable, so I personally think it is a good idea. That brings us to the end of today's video. If you did enjoy it, please drop a like, a comment, subscribe. If you have any suggestions for me, if you want to see a certain gameplay of a certain rogue or any gameplay tips and tricks, just let me know in the comments below. I also stream Rogue Company live on Twitch every single day, so if you want to come check me out there, I will leave the link in the description below, alongside my Twitter too. If you want to get in contact with me, DM me any suggestions or just to support the channel, that will also be in the description below. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.